recently on the SHREDD RAGAN Show.
Steve Tasker. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great.
What's going on?
I'm doing great. How's it going, guys?
Have you talked to Thurman Thomas?
He's texting me. He wants to play golf tomorrow.
Golf? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame and he wants to play golf?
I have to say yes. He wants to play golf with me on the week of his induction. What am I going to say? No, I'm busy.
Is it nervous golf? It's like,
I think so. Yeah, I think he's feeling it a little bit. He's keyed up.
I would think the nerves would be over. I know when we were down at the Super Bowl, a lot of people that had seen him, we were talking to Jim Kelly the day before that announcement came out, and he said Thurman's not leaving his hotel room. He doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to see anything, doesn't want to do anything to jinx it.
That's right.
But now, I mean, it's a done deal. He's in. Now it's just the ceremony.
Yeah, and you can tell, too, in the stuff I've heard him do and talking to him, Thurman, when he was playing, he was the guy that he played his whole career with a huge chip on his shoulder.
Is there anybody running today in the NFL that reminds you of Thurman Thomas?
Boy, I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't think so. A lot of teams have a different kind of running game than the one we used. I think the running backs that you look at LaDainian Tomlinson and you look at guys like the guys in Cincinnati with Dominic Rhodes and the other kid, I can't even think of his name, but those kind of offenses are the offenses we ran, the three wide receivers with a single back. Other offenses are running with a big back, a big guy who carries the ball, who doesn't split out and run wide receiver routes and stuff. Thurman did all of that, and he was very good at it.
Thurman was funny because when Thurman would, by the way, Steve Tasker's with us. We're here at St. John Fisher. Thurman was interesting, especially when it came to the media. There's a famous clip where they were asking Thurman about a contract negotiation, and he was great. He's like, I don't ask you what you make. Why are you asking me about what I make? I don't have to tell you. He's like, well, you kind of do. It's sort of public knowledge. Nah, get the hell out of my face. I'm just walking. And Thurman kept walking. Thurman was like that even when we would get into the locker on Wednesdays. Thurman would stand there at his locker. He'd do his thing. He'd face his locker. Media would try to talk to him, nothing. But that wasn't the Thurman you knew, right?
Oh, no.
What was all that about, and what was he really like?
Well, Thurman, and a lot of guys are like this even today, they use anything they can to be motivated. And a lot of guys play best, or they feel they play best when they've got something to prove or somebody to prove wrong.
Right.
Or they have been done an injustice that they can make right by playing great. And Thurman used that. He used the fact that he got drafted in the second round as a motivation throughout his whole career. He used motivation that one Super Bowl made a big stink. He opened the paper, and what's the big deal? Everything in it is about the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he's in it, and there was an article about him that day.
No article.
So he walks up, throws it, and he leaves. And we got
check this out.
We're like
Hits by Heloise. There's nothing in here about me.
It's mandatory. It's mandatory for us to be there for an hour or so, and he leaves. And of course, then it's like. It's a huge issue. The league gets involved, and Marv's like got another headache to deal with. So and it's just so that kind of stuff he would spin inside of himself to say, you know what, I'm going to show them, and that's the way he played. And but to us, his teammates, he was awesome. He giving hugs. He was slapping. He was a big team player. He would do the little things. He'd do dirty things. He would. He not dirty player, but the nitty-gritty stuff. Mm-hmm. He'd get his hands dirty and help. He'd pass protect. He'd pick up a guy that wasn't even his to help make the play successful. He'd look out for the offensive lineman, cover for people in pass protection. He'd go out and, help guys, tell them, no, you do this and that. He was a communicator on the field. He was always working for the team to make him better on the field and in practice. He never missed practice either. I mean, this is a guy that would carry the ball 30 times on Sunday, and he'd be there next Wednesday when we lined up to practice and get ready for the next game. He was there, took all his reps. He took an absolute beating and never missed. So
you make a good point about pass protection, though. There's a lot of guys, we've seen him here. Willis McGahee had been accused many times of not being a great pass protector.
Thurman Thomas was a good pass protector. Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
Pass protection is not only about the ability or the desire to step up and take a guy on and bang heads with him. It's also about stepping in the right direction and jumping into the fray when the quarterback's going to get sacked quick by a quick blitz, and he jumps in the middle of it and gets the guy before he can get to Jim.
Right.
And which goes to show how much Jim trusted him, because Jim would hang on to the ball and expect him to get the guy.
Oh, jeez.
And he'd get it. And that's the way they did it.
It's a lot to carry. Jim with us. We're here at St. John Fisher College. It's SHREDD RAGAN Show. We're live this afternoon as we're getting ready for training camp and the practice tonight. And, of course, Thurman Thomas is going into the Hall of Fame. Who's going to introduce him? Do you know? You have an idea yet?
I heard it was going to be Marv, yeah.
Really?
Marv's going to present him just like he did Jim.
Nice. Get a good speech out of Marv.
Yeah, Marv would be awesome.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the thing that you don't realize with Marv. I'm sure you did playing with him and everything like that, but we had Marv here before, and he's exercising. It's hot. He's like, hey, boys, climbed up the mountain, climbed up our little hill here without a problem. I didn't realize he was responsible for bringing Bill Walsh along, taking him from the high school ranks. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. He hired him, and he tells a great story, too. He was a young graduate assistant just scraping by and was looking for a coaching camp to go to. I don't know if he told you this story or not, but he told us, and he picked the camp that he's like Marv. He picked the exact camp that would fit him perfectly, schedule and everything. It was late in the summer, so, and it was a schedule at the end of it. Bear Bryant was going to give a presentation on soup to nuts, how to assemble a staff and start a program at the college level, how to do it.
Right.
And that was what he wanted to do. So it was late in the summer, and most of the coaches had to kind of leave the conference early, and because they had camps that were starting. It was too late in the year to really have a camp. But Marv thought it was good. So they walked into the final presentation where you figure a couple of hundred guys are going to be there listening to Bear Bryant, and there was only 4 guys that showed up, and Marv was one of them. But so they sat there, and Bear Bryant goes, "So you guys are the only 4 that showed." He goes, "You must really care about this." So he sat there and gave them the whole presentation, took them out to dinner. Took them out to dinner, the 4 of them. They talked football, and then he took them back to his hotel room, and they sat there all night. And
it's like life lessons from God, right?
The 4 guys in the group were Marv Levy, Bobby Ross, Mike White, and Bill Walsh.
Wow. So what do they tell you? Show up, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes just show up.
Those guys, so those are 4 pretty good guys, and as it turned out.
Here to most people. You're going to be back in the broadcast booth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm doing the preseason games with Ray Bentley. Looking forward to that. And then in the regular season, I'll be back with CBS.
Okay. You probably had to have a conference about Michael Vick, right? Have they talked about it?
Not yet.
Really? But they will at some point?
Well, we have a seminar in New York City, 20th and 21st of August, and I'm sure that topic will be broached.
How to deal with dogfighting? I know. You just can't wait, right? You're just sitting there going, I can't believe it.
Well, you probably won't have to deal with it a whole lot. I mean, you are going to be doing the preseason game for the Bills and the Falcons, but obviously without Mike Vick there, that it won't be.
It'll come up through the season, though.
It will come. I'm sure it comes up at some point. But
I think it's interesting. I wonder if he'll be in the stadium at some point, watching.
You mean in the Falcons stadium at their home games?
I don't know. We'll see.
I probably, you know what? Right now the courts have him kind of locked down a little bit. They said he can't leave the county.
Right.
So, I mean, he's in Virginia right now.
But remember, think of the lightning rod he would be if he walks into that stadium. Sure, he'll have his supporters, but just think of how ugly it'll get with all the people who don't support him. Or, for that matter, the cement mixer that's driving by our broadcast right now.
No, you're right. I mean, he is the biggest story right now in the NFL, unfortunately. Even with all the training camps going on, he's the one topic that overrides everything. And I think, just my opinion, if the people in power, if it weren't for the CBA and the Players Union, you probably would have seen Michael Vick take his last play as an NFL player.
Right.
Period.
In other words, they have to finesse this a little bit more because of that.
Yeah, I don't think they can let him go for anything other than football reasons. So this has nothing to do with that. They can suspend him, certainly.
In Cincinnati, they're going, whew, wasn't one of our guys this time.
Yeah. Although, you have to at least sit those guys down, and I'm sure that's going to be, if it hasn't already been done, sit them all down and go, all right, fellas, we got a season coming up. Nobody dogfight.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you think it's cool. Nobody dogfight.
That's right.
But, sir, shut up. No dogs. No fighting.
And now we see that Pac-Man Jones is signing a deal to be a wrestler during his year suspension. You see that?
Wow. Nothing takes the body on like wrestling, huh?
Yeah, that'll help his training.
Well, Steve, thanks for coming over to the broadcast.
Pleasure, guys.
Always good. I'm sure we'll have you on before the start of the season, too, especially with the upcoming broadcast.
Hope so, guys.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
SHREDD RAGAN, 3 to 7, 103.3 The Edge.